We are live, and this will be inside of the website archives for you to go back and check, just in case you guys have to drop off and go handle some things. It is the weekend. So let's see. All right. Now, those of you who are battling with child protective services, child support, I know that the passport division is not allowing you to get your passports, or they even go as far as your driver's license. I've seen that until you get that rectified. So stay tuned. Those webinars are going to be uploaded. So check your login portal for that information. It's going to be a heavily detailed webinar series. And it's going to be a fight if you're dealing with those things. But the points that we're mentioning in the webinars that you're going to mention in your case should give you some revelation. It should give you some more insight as to what we're doing and why we're doing it. And it really just puts them into a bind. They can't move forward without proper disclosures, without giving you proper discovery. And that's what you want to be in. You want to be in that position where you're not making statements, you're asking questions. When you ask questions that they cannot answer, the case is dismissed every time. So look out for that. We'll be doing that. And even if you're not involved in child support or child protective services, that information still goes hand in hand with your offspring lease agreements. You'll see that in the junior course. So if you have what we call children or offspring, you definitely want to do that if they're below and under the age of the majority of 18 years. So that information will go hand in hand. Announcement. Let me share my screen for a sec. I want to pull up a screenshot I think you all will find interesting, as I did. Yeah, we're going to be talking about this pretty soon, but what I want to show you first is this screenshot here. I got this August 3rd, okay? August 3rd. Now, it says here, in dealing with homeowners exemption and basically attempting to take one of our properties off of the county tax roll. Your documents have been received and reviewed. The information pertaining to the homeowner's exemption, that's what they're calling it in California, has been forwarded to the appropriate department for their review and determination. Upon review of the trust instrument provided, corrective steps have been initiated to cancel the reassessment for document, effective date 2/3/2021. 2021, February 3rd was the date that we had recorded our quitclaim deed, transferring the property from the grantor over to the grantee, which was the Foreign Express Trust. And there's specific information inside of the quitclaim deed that links to the trust. And so that's the difference. There's all these different trusts out there and different entities that you can use, LLCs, corporations, and all of that, that you have to pay annual fees and franchise dues to the Secretary of State every year. And they control it unless your entity can prove that it's under the jurisdiction of someone else, such as the beneficial owner, the trust. And when you're under the trust, guess what? The trust instrument determines its laws, its bylaws, and what it can do. I don't care if you have an LLC and you have its articles. The articles are surrendered unto the Secretary of State unless you go and redo those articles to show that the LLC has a sole member, which is the trust, and you may be the manager or you may hire someone else to be the manager. That's perfectly fine. That's the only way you're going to get around it. In this case, we use the quitclaim deed. And what's happening now is all of the monies that we paid from February up until today of 2021, which is 2 years, it's going to be refunded because the property is going to be off the tax roll. No land patent, none of that. Just a simple foreign express trust. So I thought that was interesting to share. And, once all those documents are in hand, I can't wait to redact it and share it with you all so you can see it. So there's additional people that need to come in. Let me let them in. All right, good to go. Let's go back to my screen. Those of you who are just coming in, we just talked about removing your real estate, real property from the county tax roll. And this is for one of our properties. So look out for that information as well. Those of you who have hired us to do this process for you, the transfer process, it's taken some time. And it's not really the transfer process itself. Maybe I'd say about a week or two that can be done, but it is the actual removing from the tax roll that can take quite some time. It's just stalling tactics that they do. They may even look at your correct documents and put you in a higher reassessment. And you're like, wait a minute, this is completely not what we're looking for here. And nothing that you've done would give cause to do something like that. And yet they'll do it anyway. Why? They get more money, of course. They're hoping that you stop paying, like all the SPC people out there. They hope that you stop paying, thinking that you're sovereign, thinking that you're entitled. And guess what? Now, when it's time for you to correct everything, you have you have a large bill that's due, and now you're under the county tax auctions, and you lose the property. And I didn't want that to happen with this. So we continue to pay. And it's okay. We stayed in honor because we know that refunds are going to be coming effective of that date right there. All right. So look out for that. I'll give you more information on it. Now let's talk about this here, gifts to the United States government. I think it's a good time to do a little update. This information is available inside of the senior course. And we're talking about utilizing the Treasury to offset United States public debt. If you were to Google fiscal Treasury gifts to the United States government, it's going to take you to this website here. It's really not that much on the page, but what I want you to point out is they give you an address of where they want these gifts to be submitted to. You have two options, whether to do it electronically, ACH, PayPal, debit card, or credit card, or you can do it in the mail via a check or money order. Now, I would take it a step further. It can be any security, any obligation, not necessarily a draft. So this here is talking about citizens who wish to make a general donation. Actually, I'm so sorry. Let me do this. This is why I had you all lower your hands. I need somebody to read. Raise your hand. Read what's on the screen. We're going to go through a few different tabs. Lex, you are first. You are unmuted. All right.
I don't see anything on the screen yet.
Here we go. There you go.
All right.
Read this page for me, please.
All right. Gifts to the U.S. government. How do I make a contribution to the U.S. government? Citizens who wish to make a general donation to the U.S. government may send contributions to a specific account called Gifts to the United States. This account was established in 1843 to accept gifts such as bequests from individuals wishing to express their patriotism to the United States. Money deposited into this account is for general use by federal government and can be available for budget needs. These contributions are considered an unconditional gift to the government. Citizens can make financial donations electronically through pay.gov or in paper form. At pay.gov, you can contribute online from your bank account, ACH, PayPal, debit, or credit card. You can write a check or money order payable to the United States Treasury, and in the memo section, notate that it's a gift to the United States. Mail your check or money order to the address below. Gifts to the United States, U.S. Department of the Treasury, Reporting Analysis Branch 2, P.O. Box 1328, Parkersburg, West Virginia 26106-1328. Any tax-related questions regarding these contributions should be directed to the Internal Revenue Service at 800-829-1040. That's funny, 1040.
Yeah, it is funny, 1040, right? They do that. They do. It's like when we called the I.R.S. to get our 98 numbers, the last four digits was 1099. It lets you know that that's the document that you need to use for a tax exempt entity. But what's interesting here, what stands out to me as you read that, this here, unconditional gift to the government, and the I.R.S. is involved. Why is the I.R.S. involved? And we're talking about the United States Treasury. Well, it's just like heads and tails. You got your all caps name from the birth certificate or your certificate of naturalization as heads. And then you have your last comma first middle as tails. But on the edge of that coin is the foreign express trust that controls both sides. Same thing here. Heads is the United States government, Treasury, and tails is the Internal Revenue Service, public versus private. Now, who is on the center of that coin? There are many different types of express trust that controls all of these entities, all of these franchises. And inside of the junior course, when you look up the information on the UCC3, I showed you the 1302 Unum Sanctum Express Trust, the Pontifex Express Trust, the Testamentary Express Trust, all of that leading down to the Vatican. And those are the entities controlling it. So what's interesting here, because we're going to make an update. We're going to make an update to the existing discharge information. It's not going to be that difficult, that hard, but it is going to be a vast change. What I like here is they've provided you an address of where you're going to send your particular instrument. So this is what you're going to need when you do this change, just to kind of give you some points here. Number one, this entire thing is coming from Title 31, USC 3113. And you know this already. Those who are familiar with the senior course, you already know this, right? Who can read this for me? Who do we have? Still, just flex. All right, you ready? They beat you to it. We got Gene. Gene, you are unmuted. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How's everybody?
We're doing good today. Good to hear your voice. Go ahead and read to me. I want you to read A, 1, and B.
Okay, 31 USC 3113, accepting gifts. A, to provide the people of the United States with an opportunity to make gifts to the United States government to be used to reduce the public debt. 1, the Secretary of the Treasury may accept for the government a gift of an obligation of the government included in the public debt made only on the condition that the obligation be canceled and retired and not reissued.
Correct, correct. Now I got a question for you. Who is the people that they're talking about? Who is the people of the United States? Is that you and me? Is that LLCs? Is that the Republic? Is that the de facto, de jure? Who are we talking about here? Because if everybody can do it, we'd all be rich as heck. But not everybody can do it. So who are the people? Our good friend Donald Trump told us who the people were. He says anybody that is not an artificial entity. You look up his House resolution that was done back in February of 2019. I believe it was House Resolution 48. So this means the people are anyone who are involved in a trust indenture. So that tells you who needs to issue these gifts and to who. So it's the trust issuing gifts over to the United States government. Now, I wanted you to read B because A says you need to offer something that gives the United States government an opportunity to make money. It's money made. That means money that is currently circulating cannot be used to offset the public debt or your loan or mortgage or whatever. That means they have to go and create money specifically for that debt obligation. So you have to give them a reason to do so. That's why in B, it says an obligation of the United States included in the public debt. That means an existing debt has to be there. Some of you are familiar with this process. You go to the bank, you get a loan, you're qualified, everything's good. And then they start to tell you your amortization schedule or your installment loan schedule for your car. Especially if you go to a credit union, they tell you, look, today is October 7th and your first payments are not going to begin until about 3 months from today. That's 90 days. It takes about 90 days for your loan to cure into the public debt. So that means you don't have any payments until then. So you must wait. Now, once you make your first payment, boom, you have now actually entered into a contract with the government, and that debt is now included in the total, which goes all the way up to the limit. And there is a limit in the quadrillions, about 5 commas. I believe that's 14 to 28 quadrillion dollars. That's the limit. And the president can only increase it with a limit of 100 billion at a time every 4 years. So you're issuing an obligation to the government for a loan that exists in the public debt, which takes 90 days, but only for that obligation to be canceled. There's the second part to give away. How is it you're going to have something to be canceled? Well, let's go back. They're telling us to involve who? The IRS. So what form do you all know that we use to cancel a debt? 1099-C. So what are you going to need? You're going to need, and I can't wait to make this presentation and show it to you guys, but you are going to need your trustee to obtain a bond. You need to register that bond on a UCC-3, assigning it and the debt to the Treasury. You need your 1099-A. You need copy B of the 1099-A. And you need 1099-C. And of course, you need your instrument, whether that be a note or a bill. Whichever you want. I tend to use a note. I like to make a note. Now, why are we using the bond? Well, since I've introduced you guys getting the bonds to help you record your trust inside of the county, you're now ready to do a process like this. You're familiar with the bonds and how that works. This bond is the collateral for the note that you issue so that the government can create. They can make the money and have it delivered to BMW International, JP Morgan Chase, or whoever it may be, to retire the debt. So that's what's coming. That's what we're going to work on. Question is, why is the United States Treasury responsible for paying the debt? Why is that? You seniors should know. 1781, Articles of Confederation. Article 12, all bills of credit emitted, monies borrowed, and debts contracted by or under the authority of Congress before assembling the United States. See, before assembling the United States, what does that mean? That means we're talking about the republic, the de jure. The United States is the de facto, right? In pursuance of the present confederation, shall be deemed and considered as a charge against the United States for payment and satisfaction whereof the said United States and the public faith are hereby solemnly pledged. All that other language that you've probably seen on the instruments circulating the internet about the SPC process and creating bonds did not have this information on it. And that this is all you would need. That is the guarantee. So what does that look like? We talked about the UCC3, just to kind of go over it a little bit. You need your first initial non-UCC recording. So if you've done that already in the county, you're going to list that information here. Instrument number, book number, page number, right here. And of course, this is an assignment. You're assigning what? The JP Morgan debt over to who? The United States Department of Treasury, 1789. Where are they located? Rockville, Maryland, not DC. And then I'll show you exactly how to do box 8, the collateral. The assignee here is the express trust doing business as your foreign trustee, AKA the people. And we send that over to our good friends at the address Flex just told us. So all of that is coming. And it's going to be good to see a lot of you guys share your responses to it and to share your successes. Most of you have already have successes from the current Treasury discharge information, and you all see it as a small win, but okay, that's good. As long as you do it and you maintain that information, keep it within, you're good to go. All right, the chat is open. Hands can be raised. We're now getting into our questions. Remember, one question per person. Let's be diligent and fair to everyone else so that their question can be answered in the right amount of time. All right, we're going to Richard Price. You are unmuted. How are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, yes.
All right, cool. Thank you, Avery. My question was, I have two separate authenticated birth certificates with two separate numbers, and I'm creating my declaration of trust and putting those in there. Do I include both of those in the declaration and all the documentation that we create, or do I just do one of them and keep the other one for something else, or do I put both numbers?
All that's required is one. And I do recommend that we authenticate as many different birth certificate numbers as possible. And once that is done, we simply just add it to our trust packet using a UCC3 and trustee minutes. And your minutes can go on to an infinite number of minutes.
Okay.
So far, I'm on, I believe, birth certificate number 7. And I know we got to get to at least a minimum of 10. So continue to get as many as you can, but all you need is one to start.
Okay, so all right, I'll put both of them in there to start with. That's what I need to know. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, you're welcome. No problem. Going to Miko. You are unmuted.
So Avery, my question would be in the satisfaction process. You send the post money order in. What is your opinion of what happens if they return it back for the accord and satisfaction process? Because I'm under the assumption that if they return it and according to UCC, that they would then, you would go through the process of taking them to court. And forgive me right now because I'm in my tractor trailer driving. So bear with me a second. But yes, what do you say happens if they don't cash the post money order for the accord of satisfaction process? And this is after you sent the bona fide dispute letter. Next step, you send the post money order, and then the scenario is they end up returning it. So then what happens after that, if anyone has ever, going through that?
I've gone through it plenty of times. Of course, they will do that once sometimes they'll cash previous checks and then maybe a third or fourth, they catch on to it and they send it back. Well, you never want to be late. You never want to go unhonored. So never, 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 ever put yourself in a position where you're negative on your account. So if it was a money order for me, I would go ahead and get the money back and make the payment as normal. But I guarantee you, in the future, you'll do it again and they'll accept it. It's just like a little game for them. So that's all you really can do. Now, once you get up until like 3 of those cashed and accepted, follow it up with a statement of accounting and begin your process of a lawsuit. But I want you to do this before you do your lawsuit. Well, let me just share this information really quick before I go there. I'm going to share my screen. I didn't get a chance to go here. I was going to talk about the National Currency Act. There's something very important in this Section 34 when it comes to the presidents or the cashiers of the banks, what they're supposed to do when it comes to how much debt they have on hand and how they report it. And they report it over to the comptroller of the currency. Now, you can read all this, it's great. However, there's a part here where it says their due dates when they have to turn in these reports. It's the first Monday of the month of January, April, July, and October of each year. That is the first month of every fiscal quarter. 4 times a year, that's when they have to submit this information. So when you do your Treasury gift discharge opportunity, you want to make sure you send these in at least 30 to 60 days before January, April, July, or October. Same applies. Now, even though you're doing your accord and satisfaction process, you're sending this in because you have a payment due every month.
Right.
If you go down here, you'll see that in addition to them sending their information reports to the currency, the comptroller, they have to report it in the local newspaper. And I guarantee you, if you are in Washington, D.C., and you're just still reading the newspaper, you're never going to find these reports. They have special newspapers that they report this information in. The reason why I mentioned that is because I want you to do your statement of accounting in the newspaper and send the publication of that to the bank saying the news has it, they're a witness. You've accepted these payments, these accord of satisfaction payments, and you haven't acted upon according to the National Currency Act. This is an attempt to sue. And if they still ignore you, then you move forward with your bill of complaint, which starts the lawsuit process.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I yield the floor.
All right. You're welcome. Excuse me, I have to clear my throat. We are going to Kasha. Kasha Divine Bay, you are unmuted.
Hello, everyone. Okay, well, I got a lot of questions, but I'm gonna try to narrow them down to just one.
Yeah, narrow them down to just one, and then any others, like I said, inside of the community chat, I'll see you in there. We'll try to get to them.
Okay, well, I have a situation that just come up with my grandfather. He passed away like when I was 5 or 6. I'm 43 now. And they've been calling the heirs. My mother's passed away not too long ago as well. And they saying that my grandfather has 20 acres of land and they need $35,000, or they're selling the land. And I had it till the end of the month to give them the $35,000. And I've been trying to study. I was going to do the stamp duty. I printed it out on bond paper and submitting that over to them with a billing error or a accord and satisfaction. I kind of getting so much different information because I'm rushing to try to figure this out and before they lose it. And then my auntie just called me yesterday, stressed out. She's almost 80. And, so she is depending on me to try to help keep this land for the family. and I don't know where to begin. Besides, our last night started writing the court and satisfaction. I do have, I don't know if you've ever heard of the stamp endorsed sin, because I've been following somebody who's been teaching that. I don't know if that works, but I need some direction.
I gotcha. Well, first thing, the Stamp Act pertains to the National Currency Act. So that means national associations can use it. If we're not them, it will not work for us. And I think that's why we will not find people who talk about it to be able to show that they've done it. So I'm a big advocate of that. Show what you've done. And so, in my opinion, if 35,000 cannot be generated, I mean, there's other creative investing ways to get it. If that is all you owe and there is no encumbrance, no other encumbrance, no mortgage, nothing like that on that section of the land, there's a process of just contacting a private lender to give you the money and use that parcel of land as collateral until you pay it back.
Okay, so private lender.
I'm sure the value of the property is a lot more than 35,000. So it shouldn't be hard to attract a private lender to do something.
The part I'm having a problem with is being an heir with a whole bunch of people that cannot organize or have, adequate communications to figure things out. There's a lot of deceptive stuff and, stuff going on behind people's backs. And so even if I pay it, they told me that that wouldn't give me ownership over the land or my family or anything like that. We still are in this fight of who's
true.
Who.
That is true. That is true. And that can be the most devastating thing about this entire process, where the family is not already in one by a trust, whereas the true owner of the property created a trust and gave assignments to all the heirs. If that didn't take place, it's really going to be difficult to bring them all in one accord. I'm actually living through this right now with my father and his side of the family. I understand. It's tough. As much of the information that I shared and gave to them, they still are not going to listen to it. So I have to wash my hands of it and walk away and take what I know and go accumulate my own land and my own property for my generations to come. That's what I look forward to. It's unfortunate that I couldn't help my grandmother and what she's done. And you might be in that same predicament here.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So try to talk to them and see if they're willing to contact a private lender. Maybe you guys can put together a private trust, come together before you get the funding, and then come up with a financial plan that could generate money for the family.
Okay, so when you say a private trust, is that the same thing with the foreign trust? Because I'm still in my freshman year, or is that something different?
Yeah, it could be a foreign express trust, or it could be a land trust. Every state has land trust samples on the internet that you can grab.
Okay, but until the debt is cleared, we can't do anything, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Got a lot of questions to get to today. So we are going to Brett. Just got to unmute your mic. You're good to go.
Hello, Avery. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How are you?
Doing well. Good day to you. So really my most important question, and it's probably not possible, but I would like to get your take on it regardless. But if it were possible, how could I do an accord and satisfaction for a mortgage without triggering the due on sale clause that's in someone else's name, and then be able to speak, if it does go to court? I'm guessing that I would need to have the original debtor set up a trust and list me as like a trustee, and then they would assign their beneficial interest. And I'm also kind of figuring I would need some sort of authorization to release information from that debtor as well.
What is your involvement with property? Are you an investor or just trying to help a friend?
So I actually hold the deed. They quit claimed it to me.
Okay.
It was collateral for a loan that I did.
Okay. So if they quit claimed it to you, then you have the opportunity to put it into a land trust, and the Saint Garn Germain Act says that when you put it into a trust, it does not trigger the due on sale clause. Even if you didn't do that and you went straight ahead with the accord and satisfaction process, even that is not going to trigger the due on sale clause. Just make sure that you give them that bona fide dispute first to the president of the bank and at their headquarters, and over to their registered agent. That way they can't say they weren't properly served, and then go ahead and start the process of submitting payments and see if they start cashing them.
Okay, and that would be the same sort of process that we would follow for like a credit card debt as well. Then I'm assuming if it was in someone else's name.
Yeah, same process for any debt, any consumer transaction process. That's what that would be for. Actually, the language in your bona fide dispute would change just a little bit for a credit card, because I do know in Title 15 it talks about they're having to give you full disclosures. The top of my head, I can't remember the top two that I really focus on, but if you look in Title 15, I believe it is 1635, and I want to say 1605. Don't quote me, but just go there and check them out, and you can place those inside of your bona fide disputes.
Understood. Thank you, Avery.
You're welcome. Like your profile picture, he's a good actor.
Thank you.
Cool. All right, let's go to Jesus. You are muted.
What's up, Chief?
Nothing much. Nothing much. Staying busy.
Happy
As you
Saturday.
are.
Happy Saturday to everybody in the chat as well. All right, so the good old fight that I'm fighting, I did everything you told me to do. Hit a brick wall because they wanted me to use their forms, which turned around now it's in my favor actually, because they told me when I fill out their paperwork and whatnot, I have to forward it to the Attorney General. And she goes, "Oh, some people don't like involving the Attorney General." I said, hold on. I like the Attorney General. Because, yeah, there's a section in the form where it asks, is the validity of a statute, regulation, executive order, franchise, or constitutional provision of the state being questioned? And I checked it yes. So that's for the appeal. You know what I'm talking about.
Right. That's your state's constitutional challenge. And so you can use that form, just check that part off. Everything else on the form that you disagree with, you draw a line through it, and you put I deny, and then you say see attachment. You attach your own documentation.
Yeah, I don't think we on the same page, but I get what you're saying though. I had to use their forms just to get I got a new case number, a docket number now. Now it starts with an A, which I wanted, to like reopen everything up. And I found something very interesting in my court rules. There's something in there called breach of trust. It's rule 45-8, and then in parentheses, A is an apple. So then I started digging around, like looking at old case law, and a lot of people have brought like what I'm going through, saying, "Hey, I'm the grantor, you can't do this." Some have won and some have lost. And I'm just looking at all the old school, you know how taught us, see what's going on, get in the mix of things. So I have all my ammo. I have their own statutes, their own codes to use against them, because she was in error, judge. And I just have to put together, I have 15 days.
Okay.
To put together a brief and an appendix.
Okay.
Have all the ammo, and I would just like to bother you one day to stylize it with me.
Well, that'd be fun.
That's gonna be fun.
You know what we really are going to be focusing on is Rule 12, because they're already ready to involve the Attorney General.
When she said Attorney General, I was like, yes. She was like, people don't like to involve him. I said, no. Attorney General is my friend.
Yeah. You've already sent an injunction to him, so you can refer to that.
Yep. I
That'll-
got.
Yeah, that'll be fun. We can put something together.
All right, brother. Enjoy your Saturday, and I hear from you soon.
All right. You too. Thank you. All right. So I don't know whose name this is, but the profile has a letter D as in dog. You see, I've unmuted you. You're good to go.
Devon. My bad.
Okay.
So I just had a question about which video, because I received a letter from a debt collector regarding a repo that happened like years ago. So the debt collector was trying to collect on this or whatever. But I was wanting to ask like what video is dealing, can I go over and watch that's dealing with like the debt collectors? I heard you was talking about the bona fide dispute and stuff like that.
Who is the debt collector, if you don't mind me asking?
Jefferson Capital. They're based in Colorado, where I'm at.
Yeah, I've got some experience with Jefferson Capital. All right. What tier are you a member of?
I got the complete tier.
Okay. So let me share my screen here. And
I actually want to, because I'm learning on how to like actually do court, like how to sue and stuff like that. So I actually want to sue them because they be calling me and stuff like.
I got you. So what you want to do is make sure you document all those times that they're calling you and bugging you outside of the proper time zones or the time frames that they are allowed, and you can use those as occurrences to sue them. But first, you're gonna have to come down and go to right here in the specialty course bundle. It's special courses, and then right here the third party debt collector.
Okay.
And I've given you the doc for it. And if you're dealing with a credit card, there's a credit card doc for it. And this video is about, I think, an hour long, but it was taught during a class like this, so you'll be able to hear feedback from other people as well.
Okay, nice. Thank you. And I don't have another question, but I do have some like a comment to say. So I had a apply for my foreign number EIN, and the lady said they're getting strict on it, and that the trust will be required to file. I think she said form 4433B or something like that.
44. Say that again.
I think it was 4433B, if I'm not mistaken, because I think that's what she said. And I looked at it, it was like what your trust holds or something, like all the income and taxes or income and the assets and stuff. I think that was what she said.
Well, all I see is 433B, but
yeah,
at
433.
Until they can show us the I.R.S code on that, ignore it.
Okay, yeah, because she said it started in March that they was doing that, and I was like, okay, whatever. That's why I really ignored it. Kind of, that's why I don't remember exactly if that was the correct form or not. But
right. Well, they've actually tried to redact the entire Title 26 from the Internal Revenue Code on their website, so they're trying to revamp. There's actually a lot of things going on behind the scenes right now. A lot of things as far as the Republic. I can't begin to talk about it right now, but I will expose that. But things are changing. Things are changing, and I would say for those who are ready, it's a good thing.
Yeah, Donald Trump trying to restore the Republic, right? That's what he did in some of his speeches.
The folks behind the scenes that he represents, but yeah.
Okay. All right, I appreciate you, Avery. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. All right, we're going to Samuelson. You are unmuted.
Can you hear me?
There you go.
Hi.
How you doing?
Very good. This past week, I received my confirmation that the Express Trust no longer has to file a 1041. So that's
Excellent.
exciting.
Excellent news. I love to hear that.
That goes back to 2016, which is when I reported it began. I want to start. Well, I know I have some steps to take care of and making sure the minutes are underneath all of it, but I want to amend tax returns and start to get back some of what I paid during those years.
Correct. Right. Yeah. Everybody in here wants that for sure.
Yeah.
And there are proper forms that we use to do that. The abatement and reform claims. And then what's really going to help you guys accomplish that is the trademark licensing, licensor, financing statements. I haven't shown how to do that for you guys yet, but it really isn't necessary until you've actually completed the course. And then these are steps that you accomplish after you've done that, when you're recorded in the record, in the organic public record, so that you can continue to amend and add these things. Why? Because it allows you to further express your trust. Now, how many years you want to go back? It all depends on that date that you've established the trust.
So that's where my question comes in, actually. And to be honest, you've answered so many of my questions with your free Q&A instructional. You're just such a treasure. I appreciate you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So, so my question is this: now that we're here, I want to, I've heard and read some things about the age of majority at times in emergencies, being younger, such as 8, when things have happened, such as like 100 years ago. If someone came off the boat and lost his parents, someone would probably offer him a job before anything else. So I was a witness to a domestic violence incident as a child, and I was 7. So I was under the age of majority, and I want to use that court record to restate the origination date for the trust as my 8th birthday.
Oh, I got you. Okay. I don't see why that can't. I don't see why that's a problem.
I would just need to get the court record, make it a minute, and add it and use it as a minute in the appropriate place to make sure that the right people know. I would use that with the I.R.S. to change the date. Is there a form for that?
I'm not sure if there's a form for it. I'm not sure, but I know that you're going to do further research and looking into it, and you let me know what you find, what you come across, and I can help you on the side as well.
Okay. Thank you for your time today. I'll fade back into the background.
Thank you. Congratulations on that. It's your 98 number.
Thank you so much. It wouldn't have happened without you.
Right. Let's see if we can get through and make good time. Tanya, you are muted. How are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing good today. Thank you.
Good. So I had filed a couple more of bill of complaints, and I'm dealing with one main, and they were very confused about everything, but in the end verbally agreed to a settlement. He confirmed it via email, but they also said that they didn't believe that they had been served properly. And I did receive a notice back from the registered agent that it was the wrong registered agent, and it turns out it's the correct company, but it was the wrong address. So by now, though the court date had already passed, they are in another state, and they said that they weren't going to have anybody represented in California to attend, but that I could attend, and just let them know that we had agreed to a settlement, and we just needed time for the paperwork. The judge also told me that I was going to need an attorney later, so that's another question that I have for you, but it might be irrelevant. In the meantime, I tried following up with the attorney about the paperwork, and I didn't hear a response for a little bit, and then towards the end of the week, they're like, oh, well, we're working on it. I'll let you know when it's done. And I feel like I'm kind of getting strung along. So I'm not sure what I can do at this point to kind of push them to do it, because I don't know if they're just waiting for me to continue making payments, because the next court date got set for March of next year. Because the judge wanted to give me time to retain an attorney, and I didn't really know what to tell at the time, because I thought it didn't matter if we were going to be settling anyway. I didn't need to assert that I'd be in pro per. So I don't know if I did that right or not. So
That was
My
good.
question,
That was
yes,
good. Let me just
okay.
say, after you've got the email communication of a settlement, that means every single payment that you're going to make after that, properly documented, because let's say it takes them all the way until March just to tell you, okay, we're done, we're good, this is your settlement. And then it takes about another month for the actual order to be issued. The loan is still there, right?
Mhm.
So what I want you to do is I'm going to get with you and we're
Okay.
going to do the 1099-A, we're going to do the 1099-C, and we're going to place that on the UCC-3. We're going to issue that to the I.R.S, but we're going to do it electronically. So therefore, the need for 1096 paper filing is not needed. So what's going to happen is the actual bank is going to send you copy B of the 1099-A.
Okay.
Okay.
So at this point, do I need to do anything? Do I just sit and wait for the attorney then and just continue making payments and put like under duress?
Correct. Correct.
Okay. So in the meantime, though, because it was the wrong address, I amended the pages that had, the page that had the registered agent on it to the correct address, and I had it re-signed and re-notarized, and I was going to send a new copy to the registered agent. Do I need to do that, or?
That is sound, just in case they want to come back and give you a wrench. But the thing is, whenever there's a change, whether it's the entity name change or an actual address, it is up to them to update the Secretary of State. And if they didn't do that, then that's their fault. They can't hold that against you.
Okay, yeah, because I think I'd used what I had found when I originally did my dispute, which would have been last year. I didn't double check that it was the same registered agent now. So they may or may not have updated the Secretary of State, and I didn't look on a state's website for that. I just kind of do a general search for registered agent in that company, and that's kind of how I go about looking for it. But okay, so I can still send this off to them, and I was going to also upload it to the courts to show that I sent it to the registered agent, that they had been served, because I don't know what he means by not served properly, as he'd already verbally agreed to a settlement. I didn't want to rock the boat and ask any further questions.
Right. All right. I believe you have time to also do this as well. Newspaper. So before you give it to them, place your doc in the newspaper, take the publication of that newspaper filing with the actual document, and then send it to them at the new address. They cannot get out of that. It's done.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so repeat that again. So what I originally filed with the court to put that in the newspaper is a legal notice?
Uh-huh.
Yes, as legal notice. Okay. And then send them a copy of that filing, and then give it to the court as well.
That is correct. Yep.
Okay.
Just like a fictitious business name statement. It's not real until the newspaper has actually done it and published it.
Okay, so I don't need to send them a copy of the updated bill of complaint with the updated registered agent address. Is that correct?
You do, like all of that you're going to update and send to every party.
Okay.
I want you to have it in the paper as well.
Okay, got it.
Mhm.
All righty.
For those who don't know, Tanya is the one who's the famous all over YouTube and the channel who got out of the that was the unsecured loan, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, this is another unsecured loan. So actually, no, it's secured actually.
Yeah.
They did a note on my car, but they'll be releasing that and the whole thing. So they agreed to all of that.
Right. Yeah,
Exciting.
she is a treasure. She's a jewel. So if you guys have questions, she's doing it. She's doing it. Ask her. She knows how it works.
I'm open to questions.
All right. Thank you, Tanya.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
All right, thanks.
Going to Lynn Bernard. You are unmuted. Lynn, just have to unmute your mic. Bernard. Once, going twice. No. Okay. Going to Mark Allen. Just got to unmute your mic. Are you there? Mark Allen.
Can you hear me, Avery?
There we go. All right.
All right, great. Hey, listen, first off, big bow of gratitude to you, brother. This is absolutely unbelievable information, and I think I probably speak on behalf of the whole group when I say that it's just I've done this for several years. I haven't seen anything as coherent and complete as what you're bringing. So hopefully one day I can shake your hand in person.
Hopefully we can. I would love to do that as well. I would like to do an actual seminar.
Yeah.
That we can come out and dine and wine and all of that stuff. So that'd be great. We could do that.
Look forward to that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a couple questions on title and nobility. I'll make them succinct. So does my social get tagged or linked to that new title of nobility in any way?
It does not. No. Only if you do a name change and then you go down to the Social Security Administration and you connect it. That would be but we're not doing that. We do not want to take the title of nobility and connect it to any birth certificate, and we don't want to do that with the Social Security Administration.
Right. Okay. So in my county, my process is to take that. So I had to file with both Colorado Bureau of Investigation and the FBI to submit fingerprints because they want to make sure you're not using your new name for nefarious intent. But I do not have that yet recorded. It's going to take 3 weeks with the courts, right? And public notice in the paper record. In the meantime, can I use that name to call the IRS for the 98 number?
Yes, you can.
Okay, so nothing prohibiting me from doing that now because it's submitted on the Cabeyond website, which is the people that do all the fingerprint. They're the clearinghouse third party that does all the fingerprinting stuff, and they require that you put your name in there when you submit. Then you go to the cop shop and do your prints, etc. And since it's recorded there, the new title of nobility, that I can just use. I can call the IRS for that 98. I don't have to hold it up until the court actually puts that through.
That's correct. See, listen, how it connects you is by your consent and filling out the SS5, or you were to go to the I.R.S. and fill out the W7, I believe, applying for an I-10. Right now, there's a way to do that part and still be private. But for now, just know if you haven't asked for the I.R.S. to approve your updated SS5, where it says, my former name is this, my new name is this, please connect it to the previous Social Security number. If you haven't done that, then you're okay. You're okay. So you can use your title nobility name, call the I.R.S. and make sure you get that. And of course, just know that at some point in the future, you will be getting a real foreign trustee attached to your trust to really make it private.
Right. Okay. And in that place where they're asking for the cause for name change, is that where you put your statement? I, new title of nobility, formerly known as Colorado national, but not a U.S. citizen, per public law, et cetera. Do I put that in in the statement for the reason for name change?
Yes, you do.
Okay. Great.
Now, the main reason that you're doing this is for the very same reason that the courts allow you to change your name anyway. Why? It's for religious instructions and beliefs.
Right. Okay.
So find the clause in your state constitution that supports that. And there is a title in the U.S. Code that talks about religious instructions and beliefs. That's the phrase you search, religious instructions and belief. And if you want to quote it, you have to put the entire thing in brackets using the four-corner rule. That way they can have you in their jurisdiction.
Awesome.
Now, I didn't quote it in mine, but if you wanted to do it, you could.
Yeah, I think I will. Thank you. Okay, Great, Avery. You're a rock star, man. Thank you so much for your time today. Do appreciate it.
All right, no problem. Thank you for coming in.
You bet.
All right. Going to Nathaniel. You are muted.
Yes, you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
All right, yes, sir. I'm a Texan, domiciled in Kansas Territory right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm in the third freshman class. Well, that's the first question. Do I have to wait till my next billing period before I get into? I want to be in all the classes. Do I have to wait till my next billing period to do that?
You're in the freshman class and you want to be in the complete zero tax liability class?
Yes.
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 Wait until your next enrollment. And that way the system doesn't see you as trying to jump around too much and kick you out and all that stuff.
Okay. Now, what type of entity I need to establish a bank account, because I'm getting deposit quite a lot of funds from a currency exchange. I don't have my express trust set up, so would you recommend a enterprise, LLC, unincorporated corporation?
If you are in Texas, but right now you're in Kansas, so
Yeah,
you want to go ahead and look up on the Secretary of State website, see if they even offer legit forms of unincorporated associations. If not, that doesn't mean that you still can't make one. You can.
Okay.
Make an unincorporated association and then obtain an EIN number online for it. What you got to do is a DBA in your county, and then you have to put together your articles of unincorporation and take those two things down to the bank to open up a bank account. Now, you will give your social as the guarantee to be the manager of that account, or you can hire someone to use their social and give them access to go in and out of the account on your behalf contractually. It's up to you. Inside of the course, all you got to do is go into the specialty section and just go down to the unincorporated association video, and it provides the actual articles for you. And you can put that together according to your state.
Okay, so I need to get my EIN with my unincorporated business, and get a DBA in the county, and get
the articles. Yep.
Where do I get those from?
Right there on the site. Go into the specialty courses, find the video on unincorporated association. You'll see the documents attached to the video.
Okay, got it. Okay, now the other concern is I just thought of this when you're speaking about the use of the spiritual name. I have been on a program where I entered my spiritual name in a I.R.S. website doing a Freedom of Information Act research. And once I got in touch with you, I went back and tried to erase everything, but I don't know if I actually took my name out or not. So is that a concern?
No, there's no concern there.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate you, and let somebody else get on.
All right. Thank you, Nathaniel. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. We got about a couple minutes left. Let's go to Carissa.
Oh, wow. I didn't think I was going to make it on. Hi. So a lot of these questions have been way above my my head. I am dealing with traffic tickets that turned into a warrant. I was arrested for that warrant. And I was not hip to this stuff before then. I had heard a little bit about it, but I went in and identified myself as said name and pled not guilty. And sorry, that's my baby. Then afterwards, I was determined to get them dismissed using suretyship, subrogation, or tendering special deposit. But I also had watched your video where you said if you have an express trust that's recognized, and properly recorded in the government records, that I could send, of course, a request for discovery. But I don't have one properly recorded, so that's why I was going to go the subrogation route. But I didn't know if, because I already identified myself, was already in front of a judge and pled not guilty, if I was contractually obligated and waived my right of subrogation. So my question is basically, did I waive my right to subrogation, and do I still have a chance of going in and getting these tickets dismissed using those methods? You know,
Good questions. And hello to the baby. We need to know, when did you plead guilty? What was the date?
it was I was arrested on September 18th of this year. And then I had a court date set for October 9th, but I was not ready because I know that I have to give notice to the judge like at least 2 weeks, or I mean, at least beforehand at all, but I was not ready. So I went in and asked for a continuance. So now my court date is October 27th.
Okay. So 2 things that you were not given. You wasn't given due process. First of all, such and such pulled you over without an affidavit of complaint attached to the warrant to support his suspicions, his or her suspicions. Where is that? That's number 1. You can ask for it in discovery. Number 2, you don't need a trust to really get out of this situation. I would put in a case injunction, and the fact that you pled guilty was under duress. Now,
well, I pled not guilty.
Right. Not guilty or guilty, it means the same thing. It means guilty.
Oh, that's right.
Okay. So those 2 things you need to do. You need to ask for duress and lack of due process. Now, I want you to study Rule 12, Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, Rule 12, but that is codified in your state. So you want to find out what they call it in your court rules in your state.
I'm in Texas. I will do that.
Okay. If you need help with it, Isaiah, I know he's here. You just grab a consultation and Isaiah will help put that together with you, or he'll put it together for you. I believe he can put his email in the chat.
Okay.
Okay. So he's heard what I said, so he'll work on putting his email in the chat. Look for that.
Yes, sir.
Help you put that together.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You can get out of that. No problem.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Now let's move along. We're going to Travis. Travis, you were there.
Hello, sir. How are you today?
As you can see, I'm doing good. Glad to have an opportunity to talk to you all.
Yeah, I really appreciate your service because it's very thorough, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you. No problem.
The question, you did answer my question earlier. I was questioning the validity of endorsing contracts and trying to send it to trustees because I was going that route, but you answered some of those questions. I was wondering if you would have to have a trust set up to be able to do that, and then I was wondering if the Treasury checks would be able to pay regular statements, like regular bills, like a car loan.
Well, it's not going to pay the bill every month. It's going to discharge the entire obligation. Now you have 2 ways of doing it. The court of satisfaction method, which prepares yourself to take them to court, such as what Tanya is doing that you just heard, or you are going to do the treasury gift, and it's not guaranteed. They do it when they feel like it, but I try to present enough information to where you can get them to accept it the first time around. And like I said, they only apply these things January, April, July, and October.
Okay.
So,
but you have to have
do you need a trust for a trustee? Is that what you asked?
I was wondering because we heard that you could use your car contract and endorse it, even if you don't have a trust set up. But I wasn't sure if that would work.
Never seen that process to work. I don't know what supports it. Do you?
I can't remember the exact code. It was I think it's a UCC code. I can't remember the code though, but it's okay.
Okay.
I guess one more quick thing about stamps, because they were talking about using stamps on certain documents. If would that only apply to people that are still labeled taxpayers?
Well, in my experience, I've seen it happen one time for a person who decided to use, they're called proprietary stamps.
Hmm.
There's proprietary stamps, and they all are classified under revenue stamps. Now, these are stamps that you don't buy at the postal office. They're very different. They actually they have an actual denomination. 1 cent, 5 cents, $5, $10, even up to $500 I've seen. How it works is you place the stamp on your bill, and it's supposed to cover just the most relevant part, which is the fees, the government, local taxes, and all of that. But everything else that they're charging you for is considered a bill of credit, which is a double dipping tactic. And so that's the part that doesn't have to be paid for. So if you only cover the taxes with this particular type of stamp, then it gets paid. I've only seen it done once. I've seen multiple attempts, and it doesn't go through. So I don't know if you want to try that. You can go to a website called Mystic Lamp Stamps, and you can purchase these type of stamps from them and give it a go. Even Amazon sells these stamps. The Victoria lamp stamps, you can buy those. They're about 1 cent each stamp, and you can buy a whole set if you want.
All right, thanks, man. I really appreciate that. Thanks for what you're doing, bro.
All right, you're welcome. Let's go to Matt. You are unmuted, Matt Paul. Just got to press unmute on the Zoom, and it should be able to hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Volume is low. I think you might want to remove the headset. No, can anybody hear him? Put in the chat, can you hear Matt? No, we can't hear. No, nothing's coming through. I think you got to remove the headset. Maybe there's an internal mic on the computer or laptop we can use. Nothing? No, sorry. Let's see if you can work it out, and if we have some time, we'll come back. Yeah, you can put your question in the chat for sure. I'll read it. All right. All right, let's go to Walt.
Can you hear me now?
There we go. All right.
I was trying to say I needed to be unmuted again. I was trying to turn up the volume on my mic. Are you able to hear me at this point?
I can hear you, and I'll go ahead and repeat it if people can't hear you. Go ahead.
All right. I've gone through all 4 courses, devoured the content, love it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the content you're putting out. I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around the 98 Express Trust. Specifically, what safeguards do we have if there, for some reason, the trustee ends up being a bad actor? I mean, what's to stop him from revoking my durable power of attorney over the trust?
Well, it's kind of like president, right? He signs an agreement to be the president, and of course he can still go out and press the nuclear button, bomb, and launch everything if he wants to, but there's still going to be repercussions in court eventually. It's the same thing with your trustee. They're going to be under this hold harmless agreement. They're also going to be under the powers and duties of your trust document that you put together. So you got to tell them exactly to the T what you can and cannot do and what their business is all about. The benefit of them, I'm sure you know, is they're foreign. So therefore, they're going to cause your trust, including everything that you've assigned to the trust, to not pass the U.S. court test or the control test. That's the very first 2 tests that any court looks at when dealing with your assets. Of course, choose someone that you trust, choose someone that you know. I have a couple of them that we train on a regular basis, but they're family, mostly family. And so I only want them to do certain things. I don't want them to do everything else. That's what I'm here for. So I've kind of played the part of, if you were to come and purchase a trustee with us, you're basically saying that I'm your trustee because I speak for them, basically. And that's what you want to be. If you have a trustee from another country who probably doesn't speak English that well, you're operating on their behalf, basically. They're really a face. They're giving you the passport. They're showing the courts, yes, I'm a part of this contract. I've signed it. There's nothing they can do about a signed contract. But you're guiding them along the way, and you're showing them how to live. You're showing them how to do things as part of the trust. So hopefully you pick someone that you can grow with, is what I'm saying.
Well, I guess the problem here is that I don't have anybody like that. I don't have any family in another country. I would need to choose somebody, and I could go. I know that you're able to provide that service, but I don't know who these people are, and so yes, it would be illegal for them to do something like that. But if everything I own is in the trust and I'm cut off from it, how do I have any sort of recourse to get that back? I mean, that's my big concern. I'm sure there's a way that that's structured, but that's what I'm trying to get my head around is I don't know this person, and I need to know like what's to stop him from just cutting me off from it, because it sounds like if he's the trustee, he would have the power to do that. And I'm trying to figure out what my recourse is or what safeguards are in place to make sure that that doesn't happen.
Well, you know, I like safeguards too. So control everything, own nothing. As far as the ownership part, that's really where the foreign trustee comes into play. But the control aspect is all on you. And you do that through your plenipotentiary of power contract. So I've given this to you all as minutes number 5. So let's say you created your trust, put your assets into the trust, and you hired your foreign trustee. On paper, in trust law, legally, they're the owner of what you put into the trust.
Yes.
Beneficiary is the trust itself, right?
Yes.
Now, this trustee doesn't have the credentials to go and open up a bank account and sell your property and have all the money go into that bank account. It's not going to work. They can't do it. So therefore, let's say you wanted to sell property and do all that. Your trust owns land trust and all this stuff and Bitcoin and all of that. Well, you are going to be hired on by the foreign trustee as a passive trustee to be a fiduciary agent on their behalf. So that's what that plenipotentiary power of contract comes in. That's what that word plenipotentiary means. Okay. I have given the example, you have the Moorish Empire, and they have hired kings and queens of different countries to be plenipotentiary agents on his behalf because he can't be everywhere at once. Neither can your foreign trustee be everywhere at once. And when it comes to your assets, you have to control that. So you've given everything into this trust. They've hired you as a U.S. fiduciary agent because you're the one who has a social security number to go and open up a bank account. And that will be your trust enterprise. The trust enterprise is your vehicle of controlling your assets without being the legal owner of them.
Okay. So a lot of that's done through the trust enterprise. I guess what I'm saying is we formed the trust and I put everything I have into that. And I understand that I'm the fiduciary, that I'm the one who controls it, but what would stop, what theoretically anyways, like what would stop the trustee from firing me from that and hiring somebody else to take over the trust?
Can't do it because you simply write it in the contract.
That I'm the only one that's allowed to be the that I'm the only one that's allowed
But
to.
you're the one who wrote it in the first place, right?
Well, I haven't done anything. I'm planning on going through your process. I'm trying to wrap my head around like what the safeguards are to stop a worst case scenario. Because if I'm going to put everything I own into it, I need to know that it's not going to get taken out from under me.
Well, I'm telling you, you're the one who's writing it. You're writing everything in your trust. Okay, so you write the terms. You write what they can and cannot do. Now, they don't have any access to your property. They don't know where it's located. They don't know if it's even in your name. There's nothing that they can find on you, nothing. If they were to do a search in the county, hopefully, if you guys listen, you put everything as far as property into a land trust, and you would call it 123 Main Street Land Trust. How on earth is he going to find your house and try to take it from you? How is he going to find any type of account that you have to deplete your bank account and your Bitcoin and transfer it out? There's nothing they can do. Now, if there is a contractual agreement inside, such as what I do, I pay them on a monthly basis to be a part of this trust, to give my trust anonymity. If they are to receive payment and still go against this contract and try to do something shady, they are going to be in a lot of trouble. I mean, a lot of trouble when it comes to the courts.
Yes.
A lot of trouble. And that's something that they're not going to risk simply because I am giving them the opportunity to even come to the States through my trust.
I see. So the trustee wouldn't even have knowledge of the account numbers that are in the trust enterprise.
Oh, no, of course not.
Oh, well, my gosh. Thank you. Like that's huge. Okay. All right.
You
So
structure your trust with the proper numbers, the proper certificates, the proper way you want to structure it to where it is totally private. Totally
okay.
private.
So yeah, he'd be the trustee over the main trust, but the trust enterprise and the other like things that are brought under that umbrella, he doesn't have direct knowledge or control over. He doesn't know what the account numbers are, doesn't know where the physical property's held, doesn't have any sort of that knowledge. So even if he wanted to be a bad actor, wouldn't really have any way to go about seizing anything.
That's correct. That's correct. Now, guess what?
Okay.
Have you done the birth certificate authentication process yet?
You and I were chatting back and forth about that. I'm also a Californian, and my birth certificate had some social security numbers redacted, and I sent it out for authentication at the state level, and I'm waiting to get that back.
Okay. I remember that conversation. I bring that up because when you finalize it and you're finished with it, you're going to notice the Secretary of State from the Department of State, his signature is going to be on there. Now, I guarantee you, he did not take his precious time to sign that for you out of all the millions that are going through his office.
Yes.
What happened was his assistant secretary has his stamp, has his seal. You will have the very same thing for your trustee that matches the signature on their passport. So you stamp everything that you need from them. They do not have to be aware of that. And of course, the hold harmless agreement is stating that they are indemnified from your actions and you are indemnified from their actions. That's a part of the agreement.
Okay.
Right?
Got it.
Cool. All right, let me try to get to two more. I know it's 2:30, and then we're going to have to call it, you guys. I'm so sorry we couldn't
Thank
get
you, Avery.
everybody. Thank you, Matt. Great question. All right, I clicked on Walt, and then Matt's mic was working, so let's go to Walt. Are you there?
Hi, Avery. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. How you doing?
I appreciate it. This is my first time here, so I appreciate the opportunity. My question is about half a year ago, I got a ticket, MTA ticket for walking past the gate. If anyone is in New York, you know there's two entrances in the MTA, the turnstile and the gate. Well, I went in the gate and I got a ticket. I tried fighting it via conditional acceptance, but they keep giving me correspondence. My question is, how would you recommend going about it? Because they're threatening to levy my non-exempt property and all of that.
Well, I wouldn't try to fight these things with financial instruments. I think that's where a lot of us go wrong. I would fight these things with the actual law that they have to follow because they gave an oath to it. So that means you're going to have to get familiar with your own constitution. That's the only thing they're going to listen to. So if you didn't injure anybody and they're trying to bring up a charge against you, a commercial charge, didn't injure anybody, they're not giving the opportunity for public trial, things of that nature, which are within your Bill of Rights, didn't say that. Do a constitutional challenge. Say, hold on. I need to get my attorney general involved because you're applying statutes against me. And all of these statutes are ex post facto laws. They are being applied retroactively after this Constitution. So how do they have any weight, any merit? Who is my accuser? I have the right to face my accuser. Where is he? Are you trying to move forward without a public trial? Yes, they are.
It's funny you mentioned that because in the conditional acceptance, I mentioned all of those, a number of things. I mentioned the Constitution, the fact that legal or lawful money is gold and silver. They want me to pay the so-called debt in fiat, but that goes against, I think, Article 10, Section 15.
No, that's what they want you to believe. That gold and silver is the only lawful money. If you have any cash in your pocket, that's lawful money. Malam versus the United States Court. I want you to look at that case, and you can find it on the Federal Reserve website. Malam versus the United States. He walked in saying, here's a $50 bill. Now I want you to give me my change in $50 of gold. Right? That's not what it is. There's two sides to the dollar bill, public and private. So you're going to either use it as a legal tender or you're going to use it as lawful money. If the dollar bill was not lawful money, then you couldn't go down to your local pawn shop and exchange it for actual gold. You wouldn't be able to do that. So that's why I say I wouldn't try to use instruments or bring up the entire Gold Clause Act to get out of this situation. Hit them where they messed up. They didn't follow due process, and that's how you're going to get out of it. All right. We'll go to one more. This is it. We're going to Trina.
Yay, I made it. Hi.
How you doing?
Good. Hi, Avery. Quick question. Well, yeah, quick question. I am trying to, because you mentioned some really good things when you first started the call about the quit claim deed. Is it possible to I filed bankruptcy. I'm trying to clear my credit so that I can buy a house. So I got a lot of discharge, like old debt on there. So I attempted the 1099-C and nothing happened. I attempted the 1099-A and nothing happened. How do I get to a point? Because then last month, you mentioned your brother buying a house through the Treasury, and it was a lot of stuff that I didn't understand. So I'm at this point where I'm just trying to get a place to stay. What is the best? How do I tackle that? Because I've been fighting the credit reporting agencies. I'm just going back and forth, and it seems like a never-ending battle.
Okay. So you have a property, or you said you're looking to buy?
Looking to buy.
Looking to buy. Okay.
But there's some things on my report that is, of course, hindering that. I got the debt down. It's just I got other stuff that is hindering from me getting my first mortgage.
Yeah, that's going to take time to get off your credit report. It really is.
Okay.
It really is. So if you want to bypass what's on your credit report, you're going to have to buy private lender.
Okay.
That means you're going to have higher interest rate than what the banks will give you. That's okay, because at some point you just refinance out of it when you're ready.
Got it. Okay.
Or,
so there's no such thing as quit claiming the deed or quit claiming it over to my trust or LLC?
No, I mean,
okay.
Once you secure the property, yes, you have the option to do that, but that's not going to clear your credit report, and it's not going to automatically just clean the debt off the property. It's not going to work like that.
Okay.
So you have two options: go private lender, and if you have enough down payment, you got it. They'll look at your credit just to kind of determine the interest rate, but they're not going to look at it as a rejection or approval. So if you meet that 20% threshold, you're good to go. Or you can find for sale by owner and see if they would like to sell to you, seller financed, or a lease option, or lease purchase, or just an option.
Got it.
Those are methods you can do. A lot of times, if you contact your local realtor, they know people who are selling that way.
Got it. Okay, perfect, perfect. This is good. And I think you did a video some time ago about that seller financing.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I remember that. Mhm.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
No problem, no problem. I seen your eyes rolling. Go ahead, Shamina. Go ahead. Go ahead. You're unmuted.
You saw that?
Uh-huh.
How
All
you
right.
doing, Avery? How are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Good, good. I'm so glad to hear from you. And honestly, I don't have a question, but I did want to offer a piece of advice really quick. And I also wanted to just really thank you for everything that you're doing, because I'm still aboard. I'm just going at a slower pace than I was when I first started. So the piece of information I wanted to offer is for anybody that is just starting out and they're just in the freshman class, and they haven't yet authenticated their birth certificate. Take your time and please do not try to rush this process. This process is very it's just a spiritual journey. That's all I have to say. And I also offered a link and put it in the chat for you guys to see the updated Hague list, because there were countries that are on this list. I remember when I first started that I used those countries and I kept getting rejected. So that is why it took me so long. So I did put that in the chat for you guys so that you can click on it and see which countries on there that you cannot use, because those are they're now Hague. Because I remember we first said Morocco. Remember we said Morocco?
Mm-hmm.
Morocco is on the Hague list. So it was Morocco, and it was another country that's also on the Hague list as
Right.
well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I put it in the chat for you guys. Take
Thank you.
your time. This is a journey, is not a destination. And I just wanted to put that out there and say hey to everybody, and thank you so much, Avery. I
Thank
didn't
you,
mean for you to
Shamina.
see me roll my eyes.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I selected and opened your mic, because I think that is not just the people here needed to hear that, but there are going to be those watching from other social media outlets as well.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just like me, I'm like I said in the outset, I'm still studying, still researching, and still going through all of it, just like you are. I will forever remain a student, and I think you have to be in order to
Yeah.
continue to grow, because they're going to change. They're going to continue to change laws, so you have to just stay a student. You can't master this.
No, exactly. So, but yeah, keep looking at that list to see, because I think they keep adding countries. And what I used for my authentication was, I want to say it was Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Nigeria or Taiwan? Those are non-Hague still. So
Yeah, Taiwan is good to go. That's the real China, Taiwan. Mm-hmm.
yeah. Thank you for letting me speak. I appreciate it.
No problem. Wesley thinks if he shows his video, I'll call him. That's what he's doing. I see that. Let's see. I'm feeling okay, so you are muted, Wesley. How's it going?
I'm doing well, man. Doing well. I appreciate you calling on me. So quickly, like I said, I know you're trying to end. I've gone through pretty much all the way through like the junior class and getting my paperwork ready to file, getting all that stuff done. I have a quick question about, I know you said when we started our trust, like the official date I did this year, are we not able to go back and claim previous tax years if I said it this year?
Yeah, you can. You know how to do it?
Do not, but I'm not quite to that process yet. So I just didn't know if I needed to change and go back previous years to make sure that I was before the tax years that I wanted to claim.
Hmm. A lot of people think that the date of establishment is the true foundation for going back. It's not. That's why you've heard me say go back 3 years. You can go back to your 18 years old as an implied trust.
Right.
No, what really does it is your DBA.
Okay.
So your affidavit of fictitious business name statement, take it back as far as you want. So
Perfect.
let's say
Perfect.
Avery Imago Dei Express Trust doing business as Avery Duval Cottrell, DTD, that's dated. And I'm going to go back to November 8th in the year I turned 18, which is 2004 or 5. Yeah.
I think 5. I think you and I are the same age. So yeah, absolutely.
87.
Yeah.
All right.
Last question. I was going through the old question and answer Zooms. And I know, I guess from my gathering right now, the objective to eventually is to stop using the social and use everything through business credit. Did I hear you correctly say that to start using the title of nobility name as a business and start opening credit lines in that, or is that going to be through the enterprise?
First, you're going to open up your trust enterprise because you need to immediately secure the money that's in your bank account. And
okay,
now that's going to be using your birth name, your social security number. Some people have already started establishing credit under the trust enterprise using their social as the guarantor. That's fine. But eventually, you know, and this is why we have the express trust doing business as the title nobility name. Eventually, when you get your name change and you do that, you get the decree, you get it, your passport updated, and then from there you obtain a copy of you obtain a certified copy of your application that you gave the passport. And then you're going to go down to the Social Security Administration. Now, everybody listen carefully. I don't want you guys to get confused. Listen to this part. You go down to the SSA and you're going to fill out the SS5. But at the top, you're going to write ineligibility letter. You're not asking them to update your name with the current social. Ineligibility letter. There's a way to fill out the application very different than how our parents did it back in the day. It's going to be very different. Of course, you need all the proof that you've done in the court. This gives them the opportunity to draw up a special letter to you. It's going to say that your title nobility name is ineligible of having a social security number. Now, with that, you are able to apply for business credit or even personal credit with the title nobility name, and you don't even have to submit a social security number attached to it. There's something in lieu of that. It's going to be the passport number. The passport number is 9 digits. That's being totally private. That's what you want to get to. So as always, I'm showing myself in doing that process for you guys. So as of right now, you have access to the name change information. Do it. And then follow along as I show what's next. Go do it. And do it quick. Because when they get it, they start changing things. And then we got to go around that. But that's how it is. All right.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Very, very welcome. Okay, so that's it. That's it for today. I'm going to stop it here. I will upload this to the site so you guys have access to it. And instead of waiting every first Saturday, what I'll do is randomly, I'll send out a notification in the announcements, and I'll just do a random live within the website, kind of how you see people do lives on YouTube or TikTok. And then if you're able to jump on, ask a question right then and there. It might just be 5 minutes, 20 minutes, but I'll start doing that leading up to the first Saturday of the month. All right, cool. I appreciate all of you for being a part of it. Every single person who asked questions today, great questions, great questions. I'm sorry I couldn't get to all of you. Those that are in the community plan, this was the one time only to let you in today, to be a part of today's conversation. So if you are going to convert over to either freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior, or the complete tier, you will be a part of this on every first Saturday of the month, for sure. All right. I'll talk to you all soon. See you guys later.